Robin Hood Radio presents Stage Right or Not with Michele Willens. Michele is a longtime journalist and herself is a published playwright of several theatrical works. She's a frequent contributor to the Huffington Post, Daily Beast, and the Atlantic websites.
Another opening of another show.
Well, no surprise what the big news of this week is. Broadway theaters will reopen at full capacity on September 14th. Tickets have gone on sale for several productions. Broadway is a part of our state's identity and economy, and we are thrilled that the curtains will rise again, Governor Cuomo said. Well, this confirms what I heard a few weeks ago when a friend from Santa Barbara said he was going to New York in September to see Girl from the North Country. Well, I don't see that particular show on the initial list of those preparing to open, but let's hope this all sticks. And it's not just the old shows gearing up, by the way. At least 4 new musicals expect to premiere in the fall, including Six, the British production about the multiple wives of King Henry VIII, as well as Mrs. Doubtfire, Diana, and Flying Over Sunset. And a 5th one, MJ, about a chapter in the life of Michael Jackson, is planning to start performances also later in the year. Now, there will be several nonprofit productions as well of plays by black writers on what is still called the Great White Way. We'll see how long that lasts. Clyde's, a new one by Lynn Nottage, is presented by Second Stage. Lackawanna Blues, a one-man show by Ruben Santiago Hudson, will be presented by the Manhattan Theater Club. And Trouble in Mind by Alice Childress is getting its first Broadway production via the Roundabout Theater. But mostly attention is on one called Passover, about 2 black men living in a world where too many of their peers have been killed by police. This one hopes to open at the August Wilson Theater. Passover is an 85-minute riff on Waiting for Godot that began in 2017 at Steppenwolf in Chicago. Then it was filmed for Amazon Prime by Spike Lee, and in 2018 the play ran at Lincoln Center. Well, all good deeds there, I'd say. But in the meantime, it's back to streaming. So this Thursday, May 13th at 7 o'clock Eastern Time, you can watch an oldie but goodie from the George Street Playhouse. It's called Tiny Beautiful Things, which I reported on several years ago here. Now, this one is based on the best-selling book by Cheryl Strayed and adapted for the stage by Nia Vardalos, all about advice column exchanges between a writer who goes by the name of Sugar and her readers. And that one's only up for about 4 days. Then there's a premiere of something called Simple Lives, an audio play written and directed by Bernadette Armstrong and presented by Open Door Playhouse. This will be listenable in 2 parts. Each episode runs about 45 minutes and will be available permanently at opendoorplayhouse.org. The live stage version of Simple Lives premiered in 2016 in Los Angeles, where it won some awards. And speaking of Los Angeles, I watched an interesting one-woman piece called The Shot. It comes from Skylight Theater there and stars Sharon Lawrence as Katharine Graham. Now, it's not about her running the Washington Post, well, at least not at the beginning, but rather about living with someone who suffers from deep depression leading to abusive behavior. I believed I could help him to change, Graham says. That's what you do when you love someone. Well, we watch her as a young girl, well played by Sharon Lawrence, growing into a traditional wife, and finally a business leader of the newspaper that her father owned. Whatever the cost, we would tell the truth was her vow. I hope this one is still viewable on YouTube through the Skylight. And another often LA-based performer is back with yet another musical biography. Yep, Hershey Felder as Rachmaninoff in Anna and Sergei. Live streaming on that begins on Sunday. You can count on beautiful music, as always. Find this one several places, including the Central Massachusetts Jewish Theater. Now, as the pandemic is winding down, we pray, the Public Theater is bringing back The Line on its YouTube channel. Now, this was first performed on Zoom in July of 2020, and it was viewed by more than 55,000 people in 18 countries. Based on first-hand interviews with New York City medical first responders, the line is back online for 8 weeks. And one more plug for the public, and one more audio presentation. We have Shadowland, which is set during the 5 days when Hurricane Katrina ravaged New Orleans. Public theater listeners will have to picture for themselves all that floodwater that rushed in after the levees broke. And here's one that the New York Times calls hilarious yet profound. It's called Fat Ham and is described as a new Hamlet-inspired play by James I. James. That's his name. Reset in the modern-day South among members of a black family that runs a barbecue restaurant. This one has karaoke and dance and apparently real Shakespearean resonance. Fat Ham is a filmed production from the Wilma Theater in Philadelphia and is available on demand through May 23rd. Now we go from ham to pickles. Yes, from the Minnesota Jewish Theater comes Pickle by Deborah Yarchen. This is a new play based on true events. After entering her kosher goodies into competition at the Minnesota State Fair, Doris discovers they've been discarded. The following year, she finds her delicacy disqualified again, and she sets out on a quest to uncover why they're not receiving their due ranking. Well, it sounds sweet or sour. Take your pick. Streaming now at Minnesota Jewish Theater. Back in New York, via 59 East 59 Theaters, you can get into some magical thinking with a piece called Missed Connections. This is a magician's cosmic love story, inspired by the work of writer Haruki Murakami, philosopher Marshall McLuhan, and magician Derek Delgadio. He's the man behind In and of Itself. The play explores the fleeting, unspoken bonds that can emerge between total strangers, and it takes 20 audience members on a search for the invisible thread that connects them all. If you want to be one of those 20, check out 59 East 59. And Manhattan Theater Club is presenting the virtual premiere of The Niceties, written by Eleanor Burgess. This one reunites the original cast members, Lisa Bain and Jordan Boatman. It's been reimagined since its original production in MTC's 2019 season. I reviewed this one here several years ago. It's a two-hander about a teacher, her student, and, yes, the issue of race. This one, though, sounds like the most fun of the week. Miscast 21 starts streaming on Sunday. Actually, I think it's only a one-time stream, Sunday, May 16th. So far, the miscast cast includes Annalee Ashford, Gavin Creel, Renee Elise Goldsberry, Cheyenne Jackson, and LaShans, and there will be more as the week goes on. The concept of miscast places performers in unlikely roles for numbers, and it's generally hilarious. I'm sure you can just Google miscast to find that one. And it will make us laugh. You know, even with things opening up, a key question does remain: what kinds of shows will people want to see? Is it time only for feel-good music men warning about trouble with a capital T or melodic Motown memories? Will audiences never want to see or wear a mask again? Well, as I mentioned, the public is hoping we'll review The Line. And here's one more test, an offering called Breathe. It follows 5 couples grappling with the virus's impact on their lives. Tickets are priced $25, and info can be found via Lockdown Theater and or on Theater Mania. That website, Theater Mania, by the way, is always worth checking. It's just put up, I noticed, a film streaming of The Importance of Being Earnest starring Brian Bedford. That was on Broadway several years ago, and it is a classic. Well, in the eulogy portion of my report, they died 2 weeks ago, but I've not yet paid tribute to 2 wonderful actresses of many a medium. First, our own Olympia Dukakis. Despite the awards, including an Oscar and her other screen successes, Ms. Dukakis never gave up theater work. And the same can be said of Britain's Helen McCrory, seen in so many TV series like Peaky Blinders, Line of Duty, and in the Harry Potter films. But she, too, loved theater above all and won or was nominated for her work on many stages, including the National. Dukakis was 89, McCrory only 52. Finally, let me end on one more piece of so-called news. In September, the filmed version of the hit musical Come From Away will apparently debut on Apple TV+. It's set to be filmed live at the Schoenfeld Theater. Now, Apple TV Plus has not yet set an official release date, but Jill, I wonder if it will even be necessary if the actual production returns. Yet another question.
What is going to be somewhat, I think, intriguing is, remember how movies were made from musicals? I just wonder how, at the beginning when shows are back up and people are having the surfeit of screenage is just unbelievable. So it will be, I think, striking to see how many people want to see it, because ultimately you will have the same situation, which is not everybody can get to Broadway.
That's right. That's right.
So there's the balancing act as things come, as things reemerge and shift and evolve. It will be interesting to see what the see what works and what doesn't, and which bits that you.
Yeah, come from away, has been around the country in a few places, but and will continue to be. But yeah, like you say, how many will go to an actual theater to see it, and is it a pleasure and a privilege to watch it?
Well, no, I'm not talking about it for health reasons at all. I'm just simply talking about, can you get there?
No, exactly. How many? No.
100, whatever it is. I have no idea what the prices are going to be like, if it has anything.
That's the other big question, by the way. There are many questions. One, what kinds of shows do they want to see? B, will people go back into theaters? 3, will the theaters be ready for them? And what the prices will be? Can they afford to lower prices? I mean, these theaters are struggling. The shows are struggling.
Well, the other thing is, that is typically forgotten about in the midst of, remember how well Broadway was doing, okay? But there was still a great number of you could get discounted tickets.
Definitely.
So the question becomes, as in so much of life, how much does it really cost? So.
That's right. And these are expensive productions. I was with the producer of Hadestown this week, and she said they are grappling with so many issues, and that won the Tony the last time we had a Tony Awards. And by the way, there's still no date for the next Tonys, which I predict will never happen, by the way. But there are so many issues that they're grappling with behind the scenes, and then the rest of us have to grapple with, do tourists fly to New York to see shows? Do they feel safe? What kinds of shows? And blah, blah, blah. And so, but the good news, as the governor told us, they're coming back.
Stage Right or Not with Michele Willens, produced in the studios of Robin Hood Radio, robinhoodradio.com.